U.S. President Joe Biden arrived last night in Ottawa for his first official visit with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The pair discussing hot topics like the war in Ukraine and tensions with China. And we have seen some deals already declared, one to stop asylum seekers from entering borders at unofficial crossings, another to upgrade Canadian military operations up north. Biden is scheduled to address Parliament this afternoon. We will be keeping tabs on that as we roll through the day. But let's get some perspective now from James Moore, who previously served as the industry minister in this country. He is currently a senior business advisor at Dentons, for a little bit more on this high-profile visit. James, nice to have you back with us. What are you going to be watching today closely?
Well, I mean, the short-term relationship between Prime Minister Trudeau and President Biden, seems solid, and that's a good thing for the country. Keep your friends close, keep the Americans closer. So the dynamic, I think, there is good. The Roxham Road Agreement, we'll see how effective that is in the long term, but in the near term, I think that's politically important for Prime Minister Trudeau, which sort of shows about the relationship that he has with President Biden. But there are a lot of inconsistencies in the American messaging about their friendship with Canada, saying no to Line 5, or at least staying on the sidelines while Michigan takes its action, closing Keystone XL pipeline while approving the Willow project up north. The Inflation Reduction Act, which is effectively a 10-year-long industrial policy that has lots of challenges in it for Canada. So in the medium term, those are some challenges. And then in the long term, if you look to the future of the North American partnership under the USMCA or the new NAFTA, real challenges, I think, in the long term with Mexico, Lopez Obrador, the anti-democratic efforts that are happening in Mexico, China putting a lot of pressure into Mexico. And you have now the U.S. border crossing with Mexico, and Laredo has more goods coming into the United States from China than L.A. and Long Beach combined. So and that's going to have some real challenges because the China relationship is cooling, of course, with the rest of the world. So in the immediate term, it looks good. Medium term, it looks more challenging for Canada. And long term, I see real challenges for the North American trade partnership if we don't align effectively.
Well, lots to get through there. Let's just go back to the first thing you referenced, Quebec's Roxham Road, which has become this unofficial border crossing at the center of some tensions. And so the idea of trying to address those concerns, how do you think that, at least in the short term, I suppose, mends some fences?
Well, I mean, it's been a real sore spot. In the province of Quebec, there's unanimity of, I think, of public opinion and political opinion across all political parties that this border crossing is something that the federal government has been slow on. And the irony of it, of course, is that the federal government closed Roxham Road during COVID, and they shut it down, and they flexed their muscles and stopped people from coming across that border crossing during COVID, which, it sort of de facto legitimized it as a border crossing, and it raised a lot of eyebrows. Like, well, if you can do that during COVID, why can't you do that during the rest of the time? And you have thousands of people crossing the border, coming into Quebec, drawing in social services, and Premier Legault, who has a strong mandate, of course, recently reelected, lots of public support, saying that this is untenable. So I think in the immediate term, it provides Prime Minister Trudeau with some relief. Quebec is strategically very important for him politically. But in the long term, I'm not sure that the agreement will prove to be effective. We'll have to sort of see how the details of it, are implemented, will work in the fullness of time.
Now, you highlighted some of the other areas of focus, and both leaders can have an agenda, but on a day where there will be many international questions being asked by media of these leaders, you did reference China. It's hard not to think about some of the headlines that could come on that subject, not just because there's obviously the ongoing tensions involving China and the balloon stories we've been covering, but this week, that testimony from the TikTok CEO in Washington, just highlighting some of that unease. And then, of course, the awkwardness of the fact that the Prime Minister himself has been on the defense tied to the worrisome issues around election meddling. What are you going to be watching for very specifically on the China front?
Well, you're right. It's a bit of a hot mess on a lot of fronts. In the technology front, the political front, with the Liberal member of Parliament now sitting as an independent, it is a hot mess. But, I think they'll find ways to agree on other areas that I think will try to be a little bit of a bait and switch in terms of public perception. Clear public signals of solidarity in terms of relationship vis-a-vis Ukraine, clear public solidarity in terms of our approach to North American defense. And I think you'll see that emphasized. China is a moving piece. That's going to prove to be, I think, a complicated relationship for both of us. If you saw the testimony yesterday, on TikTok specifically, that you saw members of Congress who were pretty aggressive and belligerent on both sides of the aisle attacking TikTok, they did mention that Canada has moved ahead with some measures that the United States should follow. So I think on that particular relationship, Canada is actually seen as a bit of a leader relative to some other areas where Canada is seen as a follower of global opinion or American first movement.
Helpful context there. The other thing, James, of course, and we cover this every day at BNN Bloomberg, is what's going to happen to the economy. And in the shortest term, do we have what can be described as a banking crisis on our hands? Let's settle on turmoil for now. And obviously, you've got a lot of U.S. banks at the center of that storm. And a lot of U.S. leaders have been out front and taking action on that front. We've heard commentary from our finance minister to try to calm any concerns here in Canada. But generally speaking, it's been fairly quiet on that front. Can you talk to us about just thinking back about your own time in government, but also for those who are wondering about this chapter in our history versus, let's say, the 2008 financial crisis, how closely Canada and the U.S. are going to have to be talking and working together, depending on how this banking situation plays out?
Canada, the U.S., G7, I think more broadly, the OECD, the liquidity challenges, we don't quite know the depths of it. I mean, there's conflicting reports coming out about it, but I certainly know that it'll be top of mind for Minister Freeland as she delivers the federal budget next week. I think within the context of President Biden's visit over the next 24, 48 hours and the media cycles around it, I think Minister Freeland will have a little bit of gap here in terms of what she is allowed to say. She has some wriggle room because the budget doesn't come until next week, and then there may be some emphasis and some measures there. The U.S., the Fed decision to go ahead with a quarter-point rate hike, in spite of all of this, I think raised obviously some eyebrows. Your network covered it, I think, pretty thoroughly. Canada standing pat. I think the government of Canada is a little bit, like a cork bobbing in the ocean relative to the rest of the world. But I think Canada sending signals. Hopefully, Prime Minister Trudeau and Minister Freeland are sending the right signals to the Americans that this is an area of concern. And I think the public messaging that that depositors have been backstopped in every one of the challenges that they've had in recent years, I think is an important public message that needs to be sent more aggressively by the administration to sort of calm the fears about the liquidity issues while the work is being done behind the scenes to find out the depth of the challenges that may be happening around the world.